I know, look, well, I've said it a few times about cleaning up, but all I've done today is repairing a broken mirror. It's going to look, I'll probably show you when it's done, but I'm pushing myself to get up and be active from a severe depression. I say I'm pushing myself, the pain's pushing me, but I need to be active anyway, so I allow it to get me up, because as I said, I need to break from that depression, and I have reason to break from the depression now. I didn't have a reason, but at the same time, the factors that are causing the depression are being highlighted, how severe they are, and in honesty, I don't know where I am within my mind, because I'm here, I'm active, but the truth is I'd probably be depressed. I'd be lie in bed and do nothing. Situation are. I'm sort of allowing, even though I know I should be in bed, because I just don't have the mental capacity to refocus my life and say, actually, no, this is really insane. I'm going back to bed. That's the safest, most sensible thing. But I've pushed myself anyway. I've put some glue on the mirror and it's drying in the back room, and the coal stuck to the glue on my hands, and well, I think I'm just going to keep this look. I'm going to go the opposite of Michael Jackson, just because handling a fire, I still need to do something, so I'm not. Well, I was going to say I'm not bothering to wash my hands, but I'm a lazy bastard because I have a physical and mental health disorder, and if it's just a bit of coal and soot, it's not the end of the world. So that's where I'm at, but I've been exhausted from that situation, and I've not really been able to do anything else. I've just put a bit of porridge, but I'm trying to go with the flow. As I said, I don't know where I should be or anything like that. I'm not thinking about it too much. I'm just allowing it, and for that reason I'm making a live to myself, well, what can I talk about, what subjects, spirituality, what's going on in my life. And well, you pretty much what's been going on in my life. Every time I give context on these videos, it is the same thing, so there's no need to really share any more there. So I thought, right, well, nobody bastards on my videos. No, I'm only joking. I can't imagine there's a lot of people that watch these videos end to end, but what I thought was, and it's pretty much what I do every time anyway, I don't speak for myself only. I mean, it's therapy for me, but speaking about spirituality is therapy. And I don't really care about what I speak about as long as that's the subject. And I'll be back with you in a second. I'm just trying to get some compression, what's it called? It's used for sports therapy, I believe, but I'll show you in a second. But I thought, well, let's just put it out there to, can I call, would you consider yourself people, or would you consider yourself monsters? Consciousness. And there goes my coffee all over the floor. That's my life at the moment. When I lose my nervous system from the pain, I'm a walking disaster zone. I just break everything, and if movements are difficulty, it's just like all day long, and I was really looking forward to that coffee. I'm not gonna end the live stream now. I'm gonna put the compression therapy on and continue the live stream. You've managed to get me in a place where I'm totally empty. So if there is anybody viewing this video, put your intention of somebody who's empty and somebody who's full, somebody who's spiritual, somebody who's classified insane, and in another way possibly more sane than a lot of people in a different way. Been blessed with a lot of input in my life in ways, but I've always sought health one way or another, whether it be health of mind, health of heart, energy, and more. So that's what this vessel is, and I've run out of water. That's why I have to go to the shop to get more water to put a coffee on, and the coffee was what I needed with a day like today. So take advantage and maybe put a little blessing in there that your intent for whatever questions you may have, that you can tap into my mind. And my mind has been shown glimpses of the universe that are beautiful and scary beyond imagination, and it's so put your intent across to send your energy. There's nothing in this vessel that was Andreas or Gabriel. It's totally people to about it being a different continent, different time zone. It doesn't matter. This is all interdimensional, and it works. I'm gonna look like a duck with these compression pants. But as I'm putting them on, until I've got them on, and they don't take long to put on, and you don't need to send it from the beginning, you can do it any time. And then you can re-listen as if it was the beauty and simplicity of consciousness. We'll get there soon enough with AI and quantum computing. Facebook with Messenger and WhatsApp to ping those messages across from the future to the past and from the past to the future. Your 50. Your time has been cut by 50%, so either, I'm going to start talking about as I'm putting this leg on, and we'll start when it's on. I'm in a lot of pain. So we're talking about spirituality, but whatever questions are put across, whatever energies are sent, you can hear it from the realm of spirituality answering your own questions. I want to talk about gods. Is that a good subject matter? We'll start with the Greek. Wherever the energy goes, flows. Can they be seen? Or at the top? No, you can't be seen, just my shorts. There we go. I was planning to sip my coffee, but I'm going to be cheeky and have a bite just before starting. Gods. Well, let's get it straight. Let's get it right. God is everything. God is everywhere. God is omnipresent. God is nature. God is your partner. God is your child. God is your parents, your grandparents, your entire family. And it's yourself. And you know what? I'm going to be selfish because I'm not here and I need to be doing something. So while you're speaking through me, I'm going to be doing my best to eat my porridge. This is my life. I thought I picked up English mustard, but I picked up the tahini instead. And I'm not going to go to coffee and porridge. Looks a bit different right now in the present moment than it did. And I want to cry. So anyway, gods. We're all God, but the very nature of reality is such that we don't remember. We don't remember the fact that we're God. We can't know it. We might be able to get a spiritual power and learn to fly, but that's not a God. That's a God. That's like a Greek God. And we'll get onto that in a second. That's where we're going. That's the start, but we're setting the base. We don't remember we're God. We might get a spirit, and we'll get a bit of marble cut after us in our image. But what is that? You might as well be a rock star. You might as well be Elon Musk. You might as well be the Queen or the Prime Minister. That's not God. Because that's one thing, that's an aspect of God when you're getting closer to remembering ourselves. And when we've got an attainment of life, and we've remembered ourselves on that level, we allow ourselves to fly in this instance. Strength to lift the entire but ultimately we're all God and we don't remember it. My theory is that no human on this planet remembers it, because I believe within God there is benevolence to himself, and unfortunate herself more accurately, but women, and we're all God. And I don't believe God has, however it is going to happen, because it's got to happen that we begin to remember. I mean, it's happening already. To my understanding, the secret currently taking place on the planet. Who knows what it's going to look like, but it's in my head it's going to be something like we all go pop at the same time and we can know we're all God. Because if God exists within form, only if God was, then I can't believe, with that, the way I look at the world at least, that we're all tied to each other as responsibility and accountability, and the work has to be equality is known within every human being on the planet, no matter what circumstance, and or we make each and every circumstance as equal as possible, because you can't claim you're God if you're seeing somebody in your image suffering. Possibly their ignorance to the secondly from their life, external circumstances, and thirdly, if they haven't remembered their God, then, and that's within themselves on some level. You can get as close as you can to being God, more close than anybody else, and they are the most God on the planet, the most God. But they've just done a lot more work. They've being able to claim attainment to be able to fly. But within themselves they still have kryptonite that weakens them on some level, and ultimately that kryptonite will always come back to other people that you share your home with on planet Earth. And that's how I look at being God, and we're all God, and that's pretty much the long and short of it. For instance, a few weeks ago now, a revelation of sorts. The Parthenon marbles, there's a lot of conflict in, well, at least in my dad's mind, with the fact that they need to send them back. He used to tell me, and I could see that it affected him on some level. It meant a lot to him. I always try and stay impartial to these things, but yeah, and go back to where they came from. But then, oh, can we have our mummy back? Can we have our statue back? Can we have our this and that and the other back? And that's the whole world. It's not just the British Museum. So I stay impartial. But it would be nice for my dad's memory for them to go back one day. But the fact is, the reason I bring up that story is because when my dad brought up that story, I would connect to the energy of the marbles, the Parthenon marbles, and what they represent, the gods. And it was only recently that I realised, when I've been thinking the Greek gods, which I never really related to, because what I before about us all being God was a bit more of a mature, grown-up idea of what before it was a case of, oh yeah, we're all God, and we just don't know it, and that's as far as it went. And what I have been able to do now is give further understanding and perception and create a picture of what that might look like. It's come from the same place. So I hear about the Greek gods, and to be honest, in terms of the Greek gods, it's like, it makes us look stupid. It's like we idolize, we praise ourselves on philosophy and what's the big one? Mathematics, language, and what am I looking for? Society, the way politics and all of that. It was meant to be born, or they were living by it, at least, the Greeks. It'll probably come to me in a second. You know what I mean. And at the same time, gods, and idolizing them, taking the time to make these beautiful marbles and put it on top of a mountain and kick up back. Yeah, but what are you doing, guys? You've got philosophy, you've got this, that, and the other. You're you're doing a lot of things right, but you're looking at gods. We're all good. Why are you being stupid for? And that's just my general perception on the idea of gods when you start breaking down that which we've discussed already. But in relationship to that, as I said, I've got the grounding to allow myself to think about these ideas nonetheless. And I've been thinking about them, and there's the Olympians, Olympiads, and the Titans. Titans were meant to be the losers of the battle. Olympiads were meant to be the winners. And the way I look at them within my mind's eye, bubbles as white. Opposite of white, you think black. So whenever I picture the Titans, I mean, there is no statues or anything of Titans. I mean, there probably is, almost certainly, but none that I've seen. And in that place, in my mind's eye, and this is when it starts to maybe reveal. Ancient, I believe, there's reason. We're trying to hide something in the Greeks. But being of Greek heritage myself, I'm aware of what it means to be Greek, at least from my history, my past. There is a strong influence of Greekness within it. I'm not going for the Hades look at the moment, or the Poseidon look. It happens naturally, I guess, if you're Greek and semi-insane and spiritual. Those are the passport. Disorder within the realms of spirituality, and you'll probably look just like this. But I'm not trying to be funny. It's just a pain of my life. I can't stop whatever words come out my mouth at the moment. And being Greek, of Greek heritage, I know Greekness to an extent, and I only need to know it to feel at home within it, and everything else doesn't matter, because all that matters is my perception of it and feeling at home within it. And when I feel at home in an environment that's got a Greek energy, when I think of Greeks within that place, I think of them with a darkness, an active depression. We're emotional, we're passionate. It's not always happy and positive emotions, it's sometimes negative. For whatever reason, the way our life is at the moment, when I think of Greeks, I think of them as dark. The same way I think of Thetans. And that's always niggled me when I've thought of the Parthenon marbles, hence the story of my father. That's pretty much the only time that I've ever really thought about the Parthenon marbles. And when I think of the marbles, I don't relate to them. They're too clean, they're too white. It's not a Greek thing. White and anger is like a child being angry. To have developed anger yet. And that's the simple way that I look at it. And then I began to realise that maybe because I'm also aware, especially with the proper Greeks, we're the Cypriots. I come from Cyprus. I have a tattoo of it on my chest. Got it when I was 16. Felt disconnected being in the UK and confused on some level about my Cypriotness. I think I got a tattoo, and it was also a confidence boost that I'll look cool in college with a tattoo. Nobody else gets. My father and the people that I know that are Greek, within society we do our best. We don't always get it right, but we do our best. And with that, it's like you're trying to you're trying to be just like anybody else. And in this world, when you can go and purchase so many material things, and we see people more material now than from this heart or soul, it's not difficult at all. Let's try as well. So I can well imagine, and when I've met Greeks out and about, their energy is very different. Or on first contact with a Greek person trying to be see, I don't make the jokes, I just make myself laugh from hearing myself. First contact with a Greek person out and about within society. And their energy is different. See the darkness within them, but it's not. And I figured that maybe when other people see Greeks, they see white. As much as we're mostly brown or black haired or red haired a lot, we have a lot of red haired people too. I believe that a lot of people must see us as white. And that was just a revelation to me that that's the or what's been created of our amnesia. We've entered a collective amnesia on a spiritual level. If we haven't done it on a spiritual level, then it's been done to us. If someone can tell me why the pyramids were built, how the pyramids were built, how the Mayans and why the Mayans took their effing time to write a calendar, and then 2012 or 2020, whenever it was, why the mummified pharaohs, what their effing job was, and the list goes on. If someone can tell me why all of those things happen on a spiritual level, I'll start to change my story that we've entered into a collective amnesia. But that seems to be the situation. fast forwards, what, 4,000 years, 3,000 years since the Greeks were about. Later, and it also kind of makes sense because the Aryan race is connected to... Nobody really looks Aryan anymore in... As I said, well, I don't know if I said it, but we're the hillbillies, hillbilly cousins of the Greeks. I don't know about Greece, but every time I see pictures and everything else in Greece, whenever I've been to the islands, they look like me. Well, not like me, but like sane Greeks. So as a result of our amnesia, we've come together, and from the past, what we have, the marbles. The point is, I realise that when other people see Greeks, I bet they still see white, because when you think of Greece, you think of the Taj Mahal. When I think of Egypt, I think of the pyramids. When I think of Mexico, it's the pyramids again. In terms of the culture of the people, I'm a building person. My dad was a builder, and I've been lucky enough to lived in London with a lot of beautiful buildings from different time periods, and I appreciate design, and I have the wisdom, well, to a certain extent, the connection to reality, way of mind and thinking. Technology and engineering, design, masculine sort of stuff. And lucky, you know, for me, working in a nice place, nice environment, I could let a lot of the problems I would have just working in a standard office go, because I feel privileged to be working in a beautiful building. That of places in London would never get the chance to go to. So I realised a lot of people probably don't see Greeks as white, because it's the statues as well. Whenever you think of ancient Greece, you think of white buildings, white statues with their noses and penises fallen off. The Parthenon marbles, everything being marble, that's what I think. And modern day Greece is like arrogant fucks still living 2,000-3,000 years ago. Oh, we invented philosophy and mathematics, and yeah, but in this world we can't really cut it, because we can't really leave our country. And from where we've come from, our arrogance and our culture is simplistic. At least knows somebody from the village sort of energy, even if you're in cities, and we've got cities, they look like London in the sun. That's what they look like to me. All the road signs are like England, because England's got a big hand in Cyprus. And past. So I question, do people see Greek people as white when they think of a Greek person, and when they think of, you know, another nation? First of all, we're thinking about the white tribe, and then you think about the black tribe, and then you look at the energy of the black tribe, and from central to south to north, I'm sure it happens. And yeah, of course, from the Ethiopians, Kenyans, the central, I'm sure, I haven't studied the body types of Africa. That's actually something that, universe, if you can guide me in that direction for my learning, you know, the next suffering that you put me through, I'd appreciate it, please. That's how I learn. Life teaches me, and I just put in the cosmic order. But like I made a post on Facebook earlier about the difference between like a karate martial art that is Japanese and Wing Chun, a martial art that is Chinese, and how the body, and you'll know it on some level, consciously or unconsciously, but on a conscious level you might not see a colour, you might see an emotion, you might see an energy, you might see people's minds. But it's to put it out there. And in that realising, I realised, and I know we've gone off on a different tangent, it feels like where the information goes, so if you want me to stop and go back to the gods, just put your request in. And then it got me thinking, because how can I put this? My nervous system is shocked so much that when this stops making a noise, because my body is in pain, it gets accustomed to the slight vibration and noise, and when it stops, it's like, the pain. So I just put it back on again. And then it got me thinking about the Chinese, because this is my perception. Look at everything, and I know I'm a child. I mean no harm to any living being, dead or alive. And there's nothing wrong with me analysing different sexes, different sexual preferences, different races, different body types, different everything, because there's innocence there, and it's childlike awe to look at the world and ask questions. But that's where my mental health has made me know myself and fight it to know myself, and lose to it to know myself, that I can just be like, right, well, it doesn't matter. But the Chinese, when I look at the Chinese, like Bruce Lee was a great teacher and a lot of consciousness. But if you look into his way of life, the way he lived his life, his philosophy was like, I am emotionally impeccable. There isn't he's ever going to lay a scar or a finger on me, touch me on an emotional level. And like when his master died, Ip Man, his teacher. It was almost like Bruce Lee went to pay respect, but it wasn't a joke. It was a serious, sincere message of love to the world, because he knew people would be there. He knew there'd be photographers. Ip Man wasn't that famous to my understanding at the time, but he was the teacher. And Bruce Lee was famous, and Bruce Lee took a run in his shoes, in his trainers, with some flowers in hand, and laid them that way. For the Greek culture, that's almost unimaginable. You have to wear black, you have to do this, you have to do that. Nah, fuck it. I don't do emotion. That's how I show respect. I am show. But the way you look at me, it almost looks like I'm taking the piss. And what he was trying to say is that, here, but there's no way you're my work, not for a second, other than the time I've chosen to come and lay these flowers. And that's the way I look at Chinese people. I also listen to the way they speak, and it's almost like riding the energy of what comes out the mouth with an energetic practice almost, because when I'm speaking, I speak down into my body, and I just want to be relaxed, and I don't really want to care about what I sound like. And pardon me, this isn't a piss take, this is my childhood innocence, and I'm going to attempt to speak like a Chinese person. And when Chinese people speak, they write it out all the way. Dong ding! I know it sounds terrible, but you get the idea that there's no malintent. And I can't hear emotion within that. And the way the Chinese live with Buddhism and Taoism as two of their strong religions, and the way the application to life is hidden from Chinese to me. I haven't really been around Chinese people in their home environment to know their culture, and then I realised that, hang on a second, I bet within Chinese bodies, within their physique, because with different bone structures, different complexions, it's different eye shapes, it all means something. And I realised that chances are that of whatever it is dark and not, Chinese also see themselves and the rest of the world in the same way, and we don't realise that of them. And then it was a realisation, hang on a second, this is fun. Maybe it's the same for the black tribe and the red tribe and the brown tribe too. And I can't remember if it is, but I'm pretty sure it is. And we'll have a look now to see if we can figure it out. But now this has really been born out of my uncle's teachings towards me that he gave. So I might start referencing what it's the coronavirus, yellow and black, isn't it? Within my psychosis, yellow and black are the colours of coronavirus. But the black tribe, the key location for the black tribe is Egypt. the most of Africa today, that goes back the furthest. And that's the place where I want to explore this. And basically my uncle was saying that within the black tribe, Africa, which is basically the black tribe's home for all intensive purposes, let's not kid ourselves. There's mostly the black tribe who live in Africa, mostly the white tribe who live in Europe. Oh, that helps the light somehow. Let's move the camera a bit. That helps. Their home. We've got the West Indies within the Americas. That's tiny. One tribe's true home is both the East Middle East and Southern Asia. Not Southern Asia, the Western, South Asia, whatever it's called. And then the Oriental part of Asia is the Yellow tribe. The Brown tribe's home is West, Yellow East, and the Brown tribe's home is also Australia, even though it's mostly white people. That's the contradiction. And you don't have to be a genius to figure out that, yeah, there's probably more white people now. Rewind not too long. Real. How long have we been sending people to the Americas for the population to grow so much in Australia? The Americas are the home of the red man, the red tribe. With the red tribe, they represent love. The black tribe represent body, so the Americas are the heart center. The white tribe represent mind. Europe is the mind. Eastern Asia is the energy center, the Dantian. West, we're calling it West Asia, is the penis, to my understanding. He never disclosed that to me, but that's what I've believed with my development. I could be wrong there. But you've got the Middle East as well. The throat center, the voice. You'd say Australia is the root chakra. And all we need is vision. We don't have eyes, we can't see the skies, we can't see within. Eyes will be the last to come, I guess. But the Americas is love. And the oldest culture that can be remembered to my knowledge is the Mayans. Our predictions state that there could have been 40 time. This is like 5,000 years ago. And if our predictions say 40 million, to me that says, well, anything is possible. They had pyramids, they had culture, they had wisdom. I mean, 5,000 years ago, and there are energetic spiritual reasons, but they put jade in their teeth, not for beauty, but because they're hard as fuck. Believe me, I won't tell you why, but I can't remember now, but they're... You see them now. Again. As a species, and I believe must have been through one in the past. You look at the Egyptian spirituality on the internet, green and blue, and you think, well, where are all these colours in people now? They're not here at the moment for some reason. We've only got 5. But maybe those small, hard little fuckers, the Mayans, and I'm not being racist in any way, there's utmost respect for them. They are. But if you look at them, the density within their bodies, if there was ever a transmutation that was going to happen or has happened, and it's going to expand again. And within that density and to life still, there you can see a warriorship. So with the Mayans, that's it. So I got to the Chinese, being able to see different things, realize the Mayans, rewinding to a previous understanding of reality, is that the Mayans aren't in amnesia. No, if they're in amnesia. They're as close to God as a collective as anybody, because we came from the great central sun, and at the moment we have a polarization of day and night. We have darkness and light within ourselves. We have good and evil. And to my understanding, the Red Tribe can know the bliss. They can know, because they can see. I don't know how, because like the Chinese tribe, I can't, the Oriental tribe, I can't understand how they can see us differently, but I can understand myself how the whole world can see Greeks differently. It opens up my mind, my eyes to seeing how other people think. And it was my understanding that the Red Tribe were already this way, that they were connected to peace. That's probably why the Mayans were able to count, because they knew, they were like, right, we know our job, we've just got to stay here. That's why it was like, we had the Mayans and the Aztecs and the Incas, and then we've had God knows how many others after, because my understanding from when I went to Mexico, they said, look, we had a new invader come in. I was like, come, take it. Here's my sister, marry her. Only if you're in the utmost place of consciousness and love are you able to ever do that to someone who's invaded you. Imagine the Ukraine turning around to Russia and saying, yeah, come in. Oh, you've got a lot of men there that look cold from the times of the Soviet Union and the weather. Come into a more European climate, have a Costa coffee, and take one of my sisters to marry. It's incomprehensible to us nowadays, but that was the consciousness, and it was a Mayan that was giving the tour that told us that. And it was almost like I could see that was still in him. And to my understanding, the end of the Mayan, it's like the Mayans were like, right guys, in our work, we've loved the world, we can be bastards if we want to now. I don't believe they're going to be, once you're at that level, but where they didn't have a bite before, they can have a bite now. So we'll see where that goes. But it's over to us with love now. We have to remember. And maybe that's all it was. They were holding love for the whole planet. And by letting go, all of that love is available to each and every one of us. I was told 2012, it isn't actually 2012, it's more like 2020-21. Maybe the coronavirus was that situation, and we're talking about spiritual philosophy here, nothing real. this video will get removed on YouTube if I'm talking about anything that could be factual about the coronavirus. But it was like 2021 we had the coronavirus. Maybe that was us having a symptom or as to the result of the movement of love. It's like, over to you guys now. Everyone go home, have a year off work and feel the love. So we have the Mayans, the red tribe, the Mayans as a representative of the red tribe that can see. They can see pure bliss. They're at work without being at work. They're just like, oh guys, we've got to turn off love now. Here we go, 2012. Yep, they've got their calendar. So they didn't have to work, man. They could just put their feet up and like, right, today we've got and they're at work on a spiritual level. Oh, you know, this year we're likely to get invaded again. Fingers crossed, we can't do shit thing. We're in love. And that's the way they've been. The black tribe, let's try and think. The black tribe represent the body. And well, that's the contradiction. And this is Egypt of spirituality in Africa. And at the moment, it's Middle Eastern or tanned white, however you want to look at it. It's not black. And well, black and brown skin, depending upon how you look at it, is the black tribe. So in other words, the black body goes from dark black to brown, and it's never, I don't know, I think it might be black, like dark black, I don't know. But either way, from perception, it goes from black to brown. And all the hieroglyphics, when ancient Egyptians were painted, they were brown. And maybe that's the best they could do with the ink, but it was probably close enough. And maybe a different way of life without the stress of this effing world, and the right diet and right spiritual mind, and not having the threat of war or money or anything like that. Maybe the skin changes, and we said we've come from a transmutation. So who knows? But right now in the present day, in the real world, the body, that's what we're talking about. Africa being representative of the body. The body is the home of the black tribe. And at the moment, the home, spirituality within the body is wrong. And it's white. So there was the other divide. And it makes sense. It's like, it's likely to go. The Chinese, the representative of the Dantian is the transmutation center, the energy center in the body. So they must be able to feel a difference within people on some level with their energy, how people are on an energetic level. So the Africa, the duality is within Egypt. It's wrong. The body in Egypt just is wrong. I don't know how it happened, but can you tell me? The Mayans, they were never split, but to us they all look divided. They're still in pure bliss, but they're able to function within this world like anybody else because they just have a culture. And you think, oh, that's a Mexican person, or that's a Red Indian person, or that's and so on and so forth. Let's have a look and see if we can find the answer for the brown tribe now, West Asia. And West Asia is the emotional body. And to my understanding, with India especially, is they're divided in terms of the not what they can see, and it must be what they can see as well. You know, I don't know how that reflects back onto the black tribe before the fact that Egypt is wrong. Just from the hieroglyphics, Egypt is wrong. Must affect the black tribe, but I bet, sorry, more accurate, must feel hard done by. I would. And they must feel this world, they must feel actions of people, and they must sense on a different level. We're not in our own home. We've got those effing whites, or however they look at it. There's a real emotional response. Or, well, if we're talking about a spirit, yeah, that was us. I mean, we had empires, according to Nas, called Kush, and where have they all gone as well? They've been pillaged. This world has robbed us. Look at the past few thousand years, how the white tribe have really been utter bastards. Their application to what they've done in this world to other tribes, and the black tribe have suffered a lot. Africa's abundant, and the whole world just robs them. It's not right. Where are all the teachings? Forget, you don't need statues, you don't need books, but where are all the teachings from Kush? Where are consciousness placed those standing stones in South Africa that have an energetic impact hundreds of thousands of years ago? Where is all the information? It's all gone. By it, I feel slightly hard done by that the Parthenon marbles aren't still in Greece, but God knows what the black tribe must suffer. And that on a fundamental level, and saying, yeah, I've got to go and make it in this world that is as a result of robbing Mother Africa, it must be a killer. And as a result, a black person born into this world, I'm sure a lot aren't like that, but as I said, I would. And I'm coming at it from that perspective that if I was a black person right now, I'd feel hard done by that Mother Africa is what it is in the eyes of the whole world. Not only in the eyes of the whole world, in actuality, in the fact that all of the resources are constantly being depleted, that Egypt is wrong. And within that, you look at the world differently, I'm sure. You look at the action and I don't know what else. The sincerity of people, the goodness of people, the insanity of people. And that's possibly why there are so many black mental health workers in the hospital, because they're like, they can see that. They can see the white tribe are fucking mentally ill. Not just me, every single madness. And they're like, all right, we can sort them out well easy. It's in our nature. But I don't know, it's just, that could be what it is. And then, taking into account the Indians represent the emotional body. But more than any other culture, to me, the Indians have gold, man. Ayurveda and everything else, they have resources to a certain extent. They have people, population and power, place in this world. The people, they're proactive Indians. They work hard. And yet, within all of that goodness, Ayurveda, the gold, not the religion, but the gold, but the wisdom within the religion. So in other words, not necessarily the story of gods, not necessarily, but the fact that they have a culture that's healing. As I said, the ancient Greeks, we used to go to war with each other all the time. The Red Indian culture is a culture of healing, and they have battles with each other. On a personal level, the Greek culture to me is like one step short of being healing. From what's been taught of it. That I've learned. It's not quite as healing, but when you look at the Indian culture and the Chinese culture as well. So with the Indian culture, you've got Ayurveda, we're talking about health of the body, you've got the yoga system. There's basically a system for everything. They had philosophy, they designed parachutes, the ancient Vedas were meant to have been so consciously awake, they were able to see down to the size of an atom within their mind's eye and document this like 4,000 or 5,000 years ago. The ancient Chinese, they had healing systems. The IQ, what is it called? The acupuncture, the martial arts. You can argue the rest of the culture really promotes healing. The ancient Greeks didn't really promote healing. Yeah, simple way of life. You chill out on your boat, you do some fishing, you go home, you read a book, you do some maths. I don't know how the ancient Greeks lived. We go and make a statue, we do some art. But they didn't have, the statues, they all look strong. I mean, look, from this angle with the right light, this body looks like it's got something to it, but this body's ill. This body's in a lot of pain, and I know physical bodies from the teachings I've got from my uncle that studied in Taoism from China, to now look at those statues of ancient Greece and say, yeah. They had something that was a bit better about them than the Roman statues that I see in terms of posture and physique. But that posture's ill. That posture doesn't denote health. And if the Greeks were all about that real mental aspect to life, philosophy, mathematics, language, beauty in the external, it's about also all a mental mind trip. But that's the Greeks. They still chill out. And with that, you expect the wisdom and the mind to the body. Find an optimum way. They stop at muscle, or at least that's what it looks like. And that's not healing. That's just being really off on doing the best you can. But Asia, both East and West, they're healing. The Red Tribe are healing. I can well imagine the Mayans living a simple way of life as well. I don't know the way they live to that level. I don't know about them on that. I don't know anything about ancient Africa. I know the ancient Egyptians were like with healing and spirituality, and it was like, hey guys, we don't need to work out, we'll just pop into the pyramid and get a quick zap wherever low on energy. It was like that. And if That's how I see ancient Egypt to a certain extent. There is so much talk about healing and everything else, sound healing. They praised Hathor, the goddess of sound healing, to my understanding. So that's what I look for. That's how I see it. And the Indians, where the Chinese still carry a lot of that wisdom, other than seeing yoga everywhere performed badly by somebody in latex trying to just get a beach bod, not really doing it for health. You know, it's just all like, oh yeah, I'll do some exercise. Oh, should I do some exercise or go and do some yoga? But really committed to the health. That commitment for real health. Because in the West, we're told like, go and do half-hour yoga, eat your 5 veg and fruit a day, and you're good to go. I don't think it would have even counted 2,000-3,000 years ago. Those were wearing, constricting blood flow here and there, carrying weight in the wrong way. But the Chinese still carry it, the wisdom. The Indians seem to have let it go. Yeah, they've got the religion there and the wisdom the teachings have within that, but they left the body. They've left the fundamental. And that's where there's a polarity, because in this world, the way Indians go about this world is like, they want to win. Well, hey guys, if you want to win, what are you doing? You're switched on. You've got the wisdom of the religion there. You know what it's about. Why are you coming this way and trying to win this way? Just look what's already there as well. Ayurveda. And win. It doesn't make sense to me. They're divided in terms of their light. The Indian culture is the current, other than Tibet, it's the place to go for spirituality. They've gurus have been coming over since the 60s, Paramahansa, Yogananda. The Beatles basically gave them a free advertising campaign in the 60s. The Summer of Love, that's when consciousness bloomed. Krishnamurti, man, have you listened to the guy that... Well, I don't know why you're listening to me. If you want to listen to spirituality, just go and flick it over to Krishnamurti. Download some real food. What we have here in the West is, JC died on the cross 2,000 years ago and was meant to perform miracles. Go and tell the priest every time you do something wrong and you're good to go. It's real chilled out here in Europe, isn't it? But that's a contradiction to me. And I know what I know of Indian people, because they're very clever. At least here in the West, I had a lot of brown tribe friends in school. There was a lot of brown tribe where I grew up, in a predominantly English, very Essex, borderline Essex area, and that's very English. So it was like Indians doing their best, the brown tribe doing their best within a very English place. And I could see that they were all smarter than me by a long shot, and smarter than a lot of us. It was the way they applied themselves. Not all of them, but that was the general energy. So I just think, you know, you be the religion through the wisdom or something. But if you do so much good and you've got that wisdom and you know where you come from, Why aren't you doing Ayurveda as well? So anyway, that's how I've realised the tribes see the world differently, and that must be reflecting back onto the Indian tribe. As we said, the Indians see life differently. It's not about the body. They must see something more. Within that spirituality, it must teach them, must give them some understanding that it's about being alive, the pain and pleasure of life, succeeding. And it's not about can anyway. It's about being a part of this world and bringing us all up together, bringing us all home together. So anyway, that's how I realised we're different. Different tribes are different. And I don't mean that because we have different colour skin at the moment. That's where I'm going to leave it. I've knocked my coffee over.